A very good morning to all. Welcome to the revision class of class 11 economics. From today onwards, now we are starting the revision of all the chapters which we have covered and which will be coming in your exams. So today is the time for the revision of the chapter Introduction to Microeconomics from the book Microeconomics. In introduction chapter, I told you that there are only few concepts that you have to do because one major concept was there which have been now deleted from the syllabus. And I have already told you that which concept have been deleted from the chapter introduction. Please write in the chat box and tell me which concept we have CBSE has deleted from the chapter introduction, so you will not be studying that concept. First of all, some basic definitions are there in the chapter introduction. Like we are now used to with the term scarcity. Scarcity means shortage, limited availability of resources, which means whenever we say that a product has a lot of demand in comparison to what is available. So that is basically known as scarcity. So scarcity is ultimately the limited availability of resources, or that how we have to select from the available resources, how we have to do our work. Himanshu, I think you should concentrate here in the class. All right. So basic definitions, basic concepts that you can see on your screen about scarcity, about choice and opportunity cost. Scarcity refers to the limited availability of resources in relation to its demand. That whenever we say that the resources are limited in nature, the resources are limited in nature in relation to their demand, that is ultimately the scarcity of resources. And you know, because of the scarcity of resources only we have to make a choice, because of scarcity only. Because अगर मेरे पास, if I have abundance of money, जितना यूज करना है, जितना जब खर्च करना, I have availability, full availability of money. Don't you think that in that case I don't have to do any choice? I don't have to make any choice. Why? Because why should I make choice? Whenever I want to spend rupees 1 lakh, I have 1 lakh. Whenever I want to spend rupees 2 lakhs, I have 2 lakhs. On whatever product I want to spend 5 lakhs, I have 5 lakhs for that. So there is no need to make any choice. But when there is scarcity of resources, you need to make the choice in that case. So what is the meaning of economics? I told you the meaning of economics, that economics is concerned with the study of economic problems, which arises because of 3 reasons. What is the economic problem? The economic problem is problem of choice, and that problem of choice arises because of 3 major reasons. Now what are these 3 major reasons? The 3 major reasons are like scarcity of resource, alternative uses of resource, and unlimited human wants. So that is all about the 3 reasons that why we have to start with the choice or making choice. Microeconomics versus macroeconomics. Microeconomics versus macroeconomics. The difference of micro and macro we have already studied, that microeconomics mein the I stands for individual, and in macroeconomics A stands for aggregate, which means whenever we say that the study of individual, or we say that whenever we are studying individual units, that is called micro, and whenever we are studying as a aggregate, units as a aggregate, that is the concept of macro. So micro is somewhere a limited or narrow concept. It has a narrow scope. But what about macro? That is the aggregate in total. So definitely macro is a broader concept. Macro is a broader concept, right? Then microeconomics is also known as the price theory, whereas we studied that macroeconomics is also known as the income theory, right? The examples of micro can be the a consumer, a producer, means एक की बात हो रही है. But when we talk about macro, we are actually saying that group of consumers, group of producers, that means aggregate product, aggregate supply, aggregate demand. We are there talking about aggregate. Then we have economic problem and its emergence, that why economic problem arises. I told you economic problem is problem of choice, problem of making choice, and economic problem basically arises because of three major reasons. Choice क्यों arise हो रही है? Because resources are limited, then human wants are unlimited, and the resources have alternative uses. So because of these three problems, the economic problem arises, and we have to be very particular about the economic problem, and we should try to always solve the economic problem. And how that economic problem will be solved? When we say that we should definitely use the resources in the best way, which means there should be the economizing of resources to be done. इकोनोमाइजिंग ऑफ रिसोर्सेज मतलब आपको रिसोर्सेज को प्रॉपर इकोनोमाइज्ड वे में, एक बेटर वे में यूज करने की जरूरत है. देन देयर आर थ्री डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ इकोनॉमीज. रिमेंबर, कैपिटलिज्म, सोशलिज्म एंड मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमीज. कैपिटलिज्म कौन सा है? द कैपिटलिज्म मींस वेयर एवरीथिंग इज अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ प्राइवेट. Socialism is where everything is under the control of government. And mixedism or mixed economies. Mixed economies kaun si? Where everything we say is basically the hybrid of, right? Hybrid of both private as well as government. For example, if we talk about America, America is a capitalist economy where everything is under the control of private, which means all the decisions, all the major decisions like what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce are taken by the individuals on the basis of demand and supply. The price is determined on the basis of only demand and supply in America for all kind of products. So that is, it is known as the capitalist economy. Then we have socialist. Take the example of China, or many other nations are also there. Korea, South Korea. That is a socialist economy. Socialist means where everything is under the control of government, where everything, like Syria, where everything is under the control of government, जहाँ पे हर चीज government के control में है, which means every decision will be taken by the government only, and there would not be any private individual who would be taking any such decision. So everything is under the control of government only. Government fix the prices of commodities. Government fix that what commodities will be produced in the economy and what not to be produced. Everything is under the control of government. So that is socialism. And last we have mixedism. Mixedism or the mixed economy means like India, where we are the hybrid, which means that some of the in some of the things government will be taking all the decisions, and while in the others definitely there will be the private who will be taking such decisions. So mixedism is basically the hybrid of both capitalism and socialism. You know, the motive of capitalist economy is always profit, because that works on the private basis, no? So a private individual or a private entrepreneur may have always the profit motive. So the capitalist economy works for the profit always. What about the socialist economy? That works for the social welfare. And what about the mixed economy? The mixed economy basically works for the, yes, both social welfare as well as other. For example, social welfare कब? जब गवर्नमेंट को लगता है कि वी हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ द पुअर पीपल or we have to take care of the other people, so in that case government go for the socialism part. But sometimes government need to have more profit also. Government need to have more profit also, because government has to again use that profit, or government has to basically apply that profit on various activities. तो यहाँ पे दोनों motives होते हैं उसके. ठीक. अच्छा, tell me how the problems of capitalist economy will be solved. In the capitalist economy all the problems are solved by market forces of demand and supply, क्योंकि वो private है, demand और supply के basis पे. Socialism में government will be solving all the problems. How government will be solving? Government will be making one central planning system, and that planning system will be taking care of all the problems in the socialist economy. But mixed में both. Some things will be solved by the central planning system, and other things may be solved by the just demand and supply only. Acha, in the capitalism, is there any role of government? Very internal regulation only. Yes, government has a role in capitalism, but only for the internal regulations, for just telling us the rules and regulation, that's it. But when we talk about the socialist economy, the government has the complete control, because on the basis of complete control of government only we people are doing all the work in the socialist economy. And what about the mixed economy? In the mixed economy, there is limited control, because government has a control on various such things, but mainly other things are being decided by the demand and supply only. So this all we have covered. Now, central problems. The question arises, what are the central problems of an economy? Central problems, हमें पता है, 3 central problems are there. Actually, there is one central problem, reallocation of resource. That reallocation of resource has 3 problems: what to produce and in what quantity, how to produce, for whom to produce. The question arises, what to produce and in what quantity. What to produce का क्या मतलब है यहाँ पे? What to produce means what we should produce. हम क्या produce करें और कितनी quantity में. This is the first problem. What to be produced? For example, we have almost 3 types of products with us that we can produce. कौन-कौन से? We may have first, that is wartime products, second consumer goods, third producer goods. मतलब हमारे पास 3 तरह की मेन चीजें हो सकती हैं: वॉर टाइम गुड्स, कंज्यूमर गुड्स एंड प्रोड्यूसर गुड्स. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी हैव टू डिसाइड दैट व्हाट वी हैव टू प्रोड्यूस. क्या प्रोड्यूस करना चाहिए? वेदर आई शुड गो फॉर द कंज्यूमर गुड्स, वेदर द प्रोड्यूसर मस्ट गो फॉर द प्रोड्यूसर गुड्स, or the producer should go for the wartime goods. So we have to decide in between that what commodity I have to produce. मुझे क्या produce करना चाहिए, and in what quantity also. कौन सी quantity में produce करना चाहिए. मतलब whether in a large scale, on a medium scale, or a small scale. So that is basically what to produce and in what quantities. Then we have how to produce. How to produce is basically कैसे produce करें. There are various methods available, that what method or technique we should use to produce the commodity. For example, we have the labor intensive technique as well as we have the capital intensive technique. So how to produce says that which method you are going to produce in our economy, use in an economy. In our economy like India, don't you think that we should definitely go for the labor intensive method? Because we have already labor abundance economy. And when we have the labor abundance economy means we have the different kind of labor available, skilled, unskilled, semi-skilled labor available in our economy. Then definitely to make them employed and to provide the employment in the economy, we should definitely go for production of the commodity by the labor intensive. But there are many countries in which there is no labor abundance, and also there are people already all employed. So there, if we go for the capital intensive, that would be perfectly fine. Then the third comes out to be for whom to produce. Whom to produce means किसके लिए produce करना है, which means how you will be distributing your income and products. So basically it is going to be a problem of the distribution, like how the total production should be distributed among the factors of production, or how it should be distributed, whether I'm making for the rich people, I'm making for the poor people, I'm making for the middle class, how I will be distributing my production to people. That is for whom to produce. Now production possibility curve, as I told you, that production possibility curve is now not in syllabus, that you don't have to do the production possibility curve. but you should know the meaning of opportunity cost. Now, what is the opportunity cost? When we say what is the opportunity cost is basically the cost of next best alternative foregone. The next best alternative foregone, which means एक चीज को लेने के लिए आपने हो सकता है किसी दूसरी चीज को forgo किया हो. That is the opportunity cost. For example, just look at the picture, please. Just have a look at the picture. The amount of pineapples given up, for how many fish gained by giving up the pineapples, that is the opportunity cost of a fish somewhere. I gave you the example, if you remember, while teaching, I gave you the example of opportunity cost. Suppose Mr. A has 3 options to work. He has 3 options to work. Let me just show the whiteboard. हिमांशु को याद है. Very good, Himanshu. See, Mr. A has 3 options. Now, what are these 3 options? Let us see. Now, let us see what are these 3 options. Suppose the first option to Mr. A is he can work as a businessman and earn rupees 1 lakh per month. Right? This is the first option. Then there is one more option. That option is he can work as a doctor and earn rupees 2 lakh per month. All right. Then the third option he has is he can work as a teacher and earn rupees 1,50,000 per month. Now, the question arises that when he has 3 alternatives available. The very first alternative you can see the available to him is that he can work as a businessman and earn rupees 1 lakh per month. The second alternative says that he can work as a doctor and earn rupees 2 lakh per month. And third option is that he work as a teacher and earn rupees 1,50,000 per month. These 3 alternatives are given. The question arises, suppose he select of working. Oh God, सारा गायब हो गया. Let me do Control Z. हाँ. So let's see कि if suppose he goes for selecting so we can simply say that opportunity cost is basically the cost of next best alternative foregone. Suppose if I have now started working as a businessman and started earning rupees 1 lakh per month, then what is the opportunity cost? The opportunity cost will be the next best alternative foregone. The best was working as a doctor and earning 2 lakh. So that will be the opportunity cost. Same way, if I suppose go for working as a doctor, suppose if I'm working as a doctor, then what will be the opportunity cost? Now, if I'm working as a doctor, then definitely in that case, opportunity cost will be working as a teacher and earning rupees 1,50,000 per month. So, हमेशा याद रखना है that opportunity cost is the cost of next best alternative foregone. That means opportunity cost for a commodity is the amount of other commodity that has been foregone in order to produce the first, as production of all the goods cannot be increased simultaneously. Because of its importance in economics, sometimes opportunity cost is also called the economic cost. इसको हम लोग कभी-कभी economic cost भी बोलते हैं due to this only. Clear? Now let's move further. Marginal opportunity cost, MOC. The marginal opportunity cost is the rate at which the quantity of output of one commodity is sacrificed to produce one more unit of the other commodity. For example, I am making two commodities together. क्योंकि resources are limited, तो second वाली commodity को ज़्यादा बनाने के लिए मैंने first वाली commodity को कितना forgo किया, उसकी कितनी units sacrifice की. That is the marginal opportunity cost. See, you study late night for a final. नीचे picture देखो. You study late night for a final. Suppose tomorrow is a final board exam of class 12th. So आज रात को तो आप बड़े बहुत पढ़ेंगे, है ना? So you study late night for the final. The next day you are very sleepy because you are tired. आपकी नींद पूरी नहीं है. Your opportunity cost is a good night's sleep. किया ना आपने? पढ़ने के लिए आपने क्या खोया? आपकी अच्छी sleep खोई आपने. That is the opportunity cost. So MOC means for getting one more thing of one commodity, what other commodities sacrifice you are making, that is known as marginal opportunity cost. Now, the next question arises, positive versus normative economics. If you people remember, I told you positive economics means what is, it tells us the fact, what is there in the economy. But normative economics, it tells us what should be there, what ought to be, kya hona chahiye, right? So positive economics is all about what is there in the economy, whereas normative economics tells us about what should be there in the economy. Then positive economics, that is, factual description, it tells us about the fact, whereas normative economics, it is not related to fact. It is related to what should be done in the economy. क्या करना चाहिए हमें economy के अंदर, right? Then the positive economics is actually not suggestive in nature, because positive economic tells us the facts and figures, so that is not suggestive in nature. But normative economics is suggestive in nature. वो suggestive होती है because it provides the suggestions. Then positive economics can be verified, right? Positive economics can be verified means the judgments or the facts which are there in the positive economics, we can verify those judgments. Dhruv Elavat, are you studying or you are busy in talking with someone? I think you should concentrate here in the class. So positive economics is basically about providing the judgments, or it basically provides the factual figures, and it can be verified. You can verify all the things of positive economics, but the judgments in the normative economics cannot be verified. Why it cannot be verified? It cannot be verified because if I'm saying that it should be done, so that is my perception that I'm saying it should be done. It is not a fact and figure where I'm saying that it should be done or ye hona chahiye, right? So we have to just see, you have to learn at least 3-4 points of difference for positive and normative economics. I hope this is clear to all now. Now I'm going to take all your questions and queries related to the chapter introduction.